life. For all of those of you who are rewatching, leave some comments. Maybe you have some questions. So today we're going to concentrate very shortly, very briefly on subject of spiritual bypassing, what it is, what are its dangers, and how to recognize it. So I want you to ask yourself a question. If you ever find yourself praying, meditating, doing acts of charity, extra acts of worship such as prayers or maybe pilgrimages, whatever is that you are doing, you finding yourself increasing it, having it in the habit, but somehow you still feel empty. Somehow you don't have the sweetness of Iman, somehow you don't arrive at the state of sabr, tranquility, and sakina in your heart. And you're probably asking yourself question, where am I going wrong? And if you, just like myself, you are in Muslim community, you probably ask yourself questions, am I being punished? Is it a jinn? Assalamu alaikum, Monica. I'm glad you're here. Please ask questions, share your examples. It's quite important subject, spiritual bypassing. I'm so glad you're here. So if you are one of those people who are doing their utmost best and you think you couldn't do any better or any more, and you still feel empty, you still feel deprived, depleted, you might ask yourself question, what's wrong with me? Am I being punished? Is it a jinn? Is it a possession? Salam alaikum, Sandra. I'm glad you're here. And if you're one of those people who are asking yourself that question, maybe you want to consider spiritual bypassing phenomena. Community spiritual bypassing quite two arenas is when us suddenly wear scarves, go to mosque, continue our fasting during Ramadan and say Alhamdulillah and Bismillah and Subhanallah left and right, and that only lasts for 30 days. Another area when I find spiritual bypassing is when I work with mental health and when I notice some relationship issues within my closest environment, be it friends or family. And you might be actually a victim of that phenomena as well, but you've never considered that. I'm glad you're here, Abdul. I'm glad you're here, Anya. Walaikum assalam, Monica. Please take part, exchange your examples, your life examples, when you think you experience or you observed spiritual bypassing. So where have I finished? I finished on Ramadan and I finished on mental health and relationship issues. So spiritual bypassing is nothing but avoidance of your own self. It goes even deeper than avoiding your own uncomfortable emotions such as anger or fear, whatever you need to go through. It's avoidance of your shadow self. What is shadow self? Shadow self is that part of your nafs which you don't want to think about, which you don't want to contemplate on, you don't want to admit that you have, you don't want others to see. Does it make sense? Assalamu alaikum, Mariam. I'm glad you're here. So it's not only avoiding your discomfort, your emotional discomfort, but also neglecting or making subconscious decision to resist that awareness of you not being perfect, you having your shadow self, you not really working well or not knowing how to work well on your nerves. And we know that nerves, the spiritual growth, according to Islamic teachings, has 3 different levels. And if you are guilty of spiritual bypassing, you might tend to think of yourself, oh, I am at that highest stage. I am at the stage of Anas Muttamina. Forget about Lawama, forget about Mara. You are at the stage of Muttamina. You are enlightened. You are there away with the fairies. You're surrounded by angels. You are so close to your God. Why would you want to go back? Why would you want to concentrate on dunya? Dunya is not for you because you are so spiritually developed. It might not be you, it might be somebody new environment that actually has this attitude. Let me check what Malika says. What I'm struggling with personally is having a lot of knowledge but lacking implementation of it. It's always on my mind what needs to be done, but the energy or willingness is missing. Yeah, I think they are connected, Malika. I think a majority of us is struggling with it, to be honest. Very often we end up being donkeys carrying the books rather than the active self and ready to implement whatever we learn. You know, Sahabis, they never moved further with learning or memorizing Quran until they actually embedded and the knowledge that was revealed at that time in Quran. So we moved away from that. We are so overwhelmed, overburdened sometimes with knowledge that we don't know where to start, and it just becomes too heavy. So little step would be the answer. But linking it with spiritual bypassing, it's even harder to answer your question, Monica, because spiritual bypassing is thinking of yourself that you are beyond dunya matters. You are beyond your mental health problems. Spiritual bypassing makes you think that you are beyond relationships issues. They don't concern you. So this is when we say, how are you? How are you doing, Mariam? You know, Alhamdulillah, everything is great. But inside of her, you know what's going on. You know that she's having some problems. But because she's doing the spiritual bypassing, she was like, Alhamdulillah, everything is mashallah, tabarakallah. Spiritual bypassing in Muslim community also can be experienced when people are falsely positive. Meaning they avoid the negativity and they justify this false positiveness in their attitude with sunnah of being positive, because our Prophet ﷺ, he was always positive, but that's not exactly what that sunnah meant, right? Our Prophet ﷺ, he went through different notions of emotions, and he actually reacted to them accordingly. So if he had arguments with wives, he was upset. He even went to Cave Hira when it was getting too much. He needed to have a time off. When his child Ibrahim died, he cried and he gave justification to us. My faith, my iman and understanding is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but I'm also human, therefore my eyes cry. So if you are doing spiritual bypassing, you will suppress this disappointment in your relationship, suppress irritation, suppress being upset, and suppress your cry if it comes to any types of losses, because you are so enlightened. That's not the ways of our Nabi. That's not actually the healthiest way to go through life. We also have this tendency in our community where we're being advised, forget and forgive. That's not actually how it should be. That's not actually possible to us as human beings, because our memory can be stuck far beyond even our own imagination. Our memory can be stuck from childhood and we don't even consciously remember that. Forgiveness is the mastery. So if you go back to the Prophet Yusuf story, when he met his brothers, when they came crawling to Egypt and they asked him for food, he felt for the second time that he's ready to reveal to them, you know who you're talking with, do you know who you're dealing with? I am your brother, the one that you left in the well. SubhanAllah. Can you imagine what those brothers felt? Yusuf was now fully fledged man in power, so he could take their life just like that. But Prophet Yusuf, he gave us a life lesson that prevents us from spiritual bypassing and thinking that forgiveness is actually combined with forgetting. He never forgot, but he said, I forgive you. He wasn't holding hostage anyone for what happened to him, because he left it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he made it very clear, I am forgiving you, meaning I'm better than that, right? It also comes with acknowledging a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as well as sabr, which he was subjected to on his journey. I hope that's clear. Now, another tricky part in our community when it comes to bypassing or avoiding bypassing, spiritual bypassing, is that we are taught in numerous hadiths to look down at people who have less, but not with disregard, but with attitude of finding gratitude, with attitude of finding blessings in our life, thinking that I could be worse off. I could be one of those unlucky, unprivileged people. So I should be happy with what I have. And that's true in all the senses. However, if you are subjected to bypassing, spiritual bypassing, you will prevent yourself from feeling jealousy, bear with me, I explained that to you. You will prevent yourself from feeling jealousy. You will prevent yourself from feeling deprived. You will prevent yourself from feeling sad, resignated, maybe a feeling of unjust. Some of those feelings, they lead to heart diseases, and this is that very moment when you have to catch yourself and work hardly on yourself. But generally speaking, we are just human beings and we are subjected to those emotions. So if you are spiritually bypassing, you are disregarding your humanness. You're disregarding the fact that you as a human can actually feel those things. You feel shameful, you blame yourself. And that is another trick of Shaitan, because once he can grab you and make you feel that you are unworthy of this religion, unworthy of attention from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he feeds you with shame and blame and guilt, then you're moving further and further away from not only closeness to him, but also from the practices which could possibly bring you closer to him. So I'm talking now ibadah, physical ibadah even, is compromised. So this is how you can find people in our community doing spiritual bypassing. And I think the biggest danger is for those who are I would say idolizing Ramadan, or over counting on Ramadan. They become pious Ramadanis, not Muslims, but Ramadanis. But also people, not only in our community, but also people who have serious unresolved issues, whether they are traumatic issues or whether they don't know how to work in their relationship, how to operate in their relationships. And they hold on to religion, hold on to their spirituality as an excuse. To not feel this discomfort, admit to themselves, well, actually, I'm not performing well, there's something I need to change. So there are actually 3 solutions to spiritual bypassing, to my research, to my opinion. And the first one is courage. And the second one is accountability. And the third one is nasiha. Let me explain what I mean. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not change your position until you change yourself. On the day of judgment, it is you and only you who's going to be accountable for everything you've done, everything you said, you haven't done, you haven't said, right? And by that, just by those facts, you have not only right, you have responsibility to be self-accountable for your mental health and spiritual health. Therefore, if you find bravery to face the fact that you are failing in certain areas of your life, and you go and grab somebody who can give you nasiha, which can be loosely translated into advice or counseling, then you're preventing yourself from the slippery slope, which is spiritual bypassing. The advice to all of us, I think, here is that we all are living in the contrast, in the duality of spiritual potential as a human beings and physical potential. There is animalistic part to us and angelic part to us. And what spiritual bypassing does to us, we forget that we are animals, that we have rights, that our body has rights over us, that we need to rest, that we need to eat. And it happens to many. It also happens to one of the Sahabi. His wife was so distorted with how he was going about practicing Islam because he was neglecting her in many ways, neglecting his duties. He was just praying, he was just fasting, that she invited her brother, who gave him nasiha and who stopped him from prayers, excessive prayer, and who stopped. Thank you for hearts and thumbs up. I'm glad you awake. Who stopped him from excessive fasting. And even now in Nabi Sallallahu he said, this religion is the religion of the middle. This religion is for you to find your golden middle, your tranquility. It's not doing excessive spirituality journeys, and it's not doing excessive ibadah. It's not doing excessive attachment to dunya. It's just finding your way in the middle. And for some of us, it comes easier. For some of us, it's difficult. But on that journey, you can find yourself cognitively reasoning. I shouldn't feel upset. I shouldn't feel angry. I shouldn't feel jealous. You might also find yourself on that journey. Keep on going back to old habits, be it not prayers, but also being overeating, yes, food addictions. Some of us drugs addictions, smoking addictions, pornographic addictions. All of those, they are just a cover up for you not being brave enough to face your shadow self. So that's in a nutshell what spiritual bypassing is and how it can be interpreted from the perspective of Islamic counseling. I wonder if you have any more questions. Monica, I hope I answered your question. No, I don't see any more questions. So I see you hopefully next time. I hope that was beneficial. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Please share with anyone who you might think will benefit from it. Assalamu alaikum.